Hello and welcome back to another pretty HD video, and today we've got, well, would you believe it, this is the first ever game that is not FIFA ever on my channel. Yes, that is incredibly hard to believe. This is history right here for you. But I recently got Pro Evolution Soccer 2016, or PES 2016, for, well, just after Christmas technically, but I just thought, you know what, I mean, as much as FIFA is okay this year, I'm not too into it. Let's get it, let's see what it's like. And I decided to, well, just go ahead and buy it, and of course I put all the kits on there, etc, etc. And I just thought, you know what, for this game of the week, let's just do something different. Now, if you don't like the game, fair enough. I like both games personally, I don't mind both games. There's different things about them. If you do want me to actually do a PES vs FIFA video, or a FIFA vs PES video if you like, then make sure you tell me down below. It's something that I've had in mind for a long time. It's something I've wanted to get off my chest about my opinions highlighted there in about PES and the differences between PES and FIFA and what I personally think. In fact, it's quite funny actually, because unfortunately I believe that you used to be able to simulate on PES. I think that's where it started, but you can no longer simulate, or if you can, then I couldn't find it because I couldn't put my controller to the center and I couldn't find the simulate option as a separate option anyway. So if you can simulate, make sure you tell me down below in the comments if any PES fans are out there. But anyway, let's go on to the actual game of the week itself, and this time it is of course Liverpool versus Arsenal. Now, Liverpool are one of them teams, most inconsistent team around at the moment. They will be brilliant one week and a bit average the next. Of course, now, managed by Jurgen Klopp, they are hopeful for the future indeed, but not certified. It's a bit hanging in the balance, and especially with the January transfer window currently in action, they need to do something, and I think Klopp definitely wants to do something. I believe Sturridge is on his way out. Anyway, if we just have a quick look at this stat here, Arsenal have only lost 2 of their last 17 Premier League matches against Liverpool. They've won 6, drew 9, which is a lot of course, and lost 2. But if we go back to earlier this season, they had a fabulous fixture at the Emirates, Arsenal versus Liverpool. I believe it was in the Premier League, I'm pretty sure it was. It was a 0-0. It has got to be the greatest 0-0 I have ever watched. It was fabulous, truly fabulous. It was a great game, a cracking encounter, and in fact, I'm not going to say too much, but we did a pretty good bet that day, to be honest. But to be truly honest, it was just brilliant. It was a cracking game, and seriously, if it wasn't for Petr Cech in the first half, if it wasn't for Simon Mignolet, would you believe, in the second half, truly that could have been 5-4. Honestly, like, that game was insane. Here I've got the report on Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0, and it was like, Cech made some brilliant saves. There was one where it came to Benteke at point blank, and Cech, this was his first game where, to me, he really shined as an Arsenal player. He really pulled off some fabulous saves and really let off his steam and truly showed his true colours, if you want to call it that. If you want to think that Petr Cech's red, even though he's technically wearing a light blue kit in this image that I'm looking at him right now. But you know, I think it really proved to Arsenal fans that Cech isn't under Jose Mourinho's signing, and that Jose Mourinho is paying Cech loads to make Arsenal concede. That theory was bollocks. Come on, I know there's loads, and I mean loads, of corruptions and stuff in FIFA, etc. But come on, seriously, what are the chances of Petr Cech actually doing that? Anyway, that's not about that weird theory that people had. Come on, let's be realistic here. Anyway, looking at the two teams, well, you have Arsenal, who are top of the Premier League, of course, 16 goal difference, 42 points, 2 points above Leicester, who are closely trailing behind in second. But they are closely followed by Man City. Liverpool, however, are actually 12 points off top spot Arsenal, and whilst being 8th, are on -2 goal difference. Granted, yes, they are in a transitional stage, but -2 goal difference at this stage in the season just seems really quite odd, and they've been shifting too many goals at the back and, well, not scoring enough, I suppose. It's weird. It's very balanced, obviously, because it's got -2 goal difference, but balanced on a low scale. Here you have up the top, you've got Leicester, 37 goals scored, Man City, 39 goals scored. Then you go to Liverpool, 22 goals scored. It's not enough, and Benteke isn't quite showing himself right out here. You've got chances and situations with Benteke where he's not quite doing enough. It's quite funny, actually. The league quite literally goes in order of wins. If you actually look at it, you've got 13 on the top, and apart from the top two here, Leicester being on 11 wins and Man City being on 12, it goes 9-9, 8-9, 8-8-8, 6-7, 6-6, 6-5-4, 4-4-1. Wow, that's like almost perfect. You've just got a few 7s in between a few 6s, and an 8 in between a 9. And of course, 12 and 11 need to swap. But apart from that, the Premier League is really being reflected on the wins, which of course would make sense considering the wins give you the most points. Well, now I sound like Michael Owen, honestly. But truly and honestly, what do I think will happen in this game? It's such a difficult one to predict, especially at this stage of the season. Earlier on in the year, I would have said Arsenal win, but Liverpool to, well, be strong. I mean, they were under Brendan Rodgers' management at that time, and it was a strong game from both sides. In fact, first half, Liverpool deserved to be ahead. Second half, Arsenal deserved to be ahead. It was a truly brilliant game, a game of two halves, and, well, it was an interesting tie. However, this time out, what's going to happen? You've got Arsenal, top of the Premier League, Liverpool 8th. Liverpool need points. They are 2 points behind 7th and 3 points behind 6th. But, bar that, by the way, this is as an as it stands table, and Palace and West Ham are playing at the moment, who are both currently on 1 point as it stands. So remove 1 point from both of them point tallies. And what are Liverpool's ambitions for this year? This is what I'm on about. They've recently signed Steven Corker, which is a good enough signing, but he's not going to be massive. Like, I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I like Steven Corker, but he could play first team, I suppose. But he's not going to be the all-in-all big signing that they need. In fact, he's only on loan as well from QPR, which I find a bit odd. Like, I would go. I would go with Corker and take the risk. Establish him in an actual place for once instead of him moving about everywhere. He didn't actually get into the first team at Southampton, did he really? Unless he was injured. But what I mean is, I think they could do with signing a player like Corker to cover places like Martin Skrtel and Dejan Lovren's spot, as they have, of course, lost them to a hamstring injury. And Kolo Toure and Mamadou Sakho will be fit to face Arsenal, but Sakho and Toure as your two centre-backs, it's a bit of a liability. Dejan Lovren's even a bit of a liability at the moment. Skrtel's the only one you can sort of be partially confident about. Corker's the sort of player that I believe will bring balance to that defence and hopefully will sort of establish their defence a bit better. However, where do I stand with this game? I just don't know, to be honest. I just don't know. Jurgen Klopp's won only 5 of his 12 league matches in charge of Liverpool. Now, that's not a great stat. 5 of 12, that's not great. Yeah, it's transition stage, whatever. But won 5, drew 3 and lost 4. So he's lost more than he's drew as well. I mean, it's sort of, you can sort of give a bit of leeway. Say if he drew the majority of the remainder, but he hasn't. He's lost the majority of the remainder. So, what do Liverpool actually want to do this year? Are they actually, they're ambitioning to get Europa League for sure. Champions League is the hope. They probably won't. I'm not going to lie. They are only 6 points off, but they probably won't get there. Mainly because of the competition up there. As bad enough as it is, you've got Leicester chucked into the mix as well, along with West Ham and even Crystal Palace. So, I mean, Chelsea, yeah, they're not doing too well, but they're actually sort of beginning to pick up maybe slight bits of form again. You can see their sort of attackist flair that they had a few years ago, and you can sort of see where maybe goals would start coming from for Chelsea. they could start coming up to the league as well. They are, in theory, only 7 points behind Liverpool. A few games' time, that could all change. It's immense how little space there is in the Premier League at this point. 30 points in 8th, and then 23 points in 15th. That's 7 points. Like, genuinely, that is tiny. Anyway, I think I will have to bring this video to conclusion as the Liverpool-Arsenal game is finished. These Game of the Week videos are unscripted. I would like to soon produce maybe a few notes to work off, because I do find that I blabber a bit, but there's so much that I want to get across that these aren't enough. I think I need to do more of these, to be honest. If you would like to see that, make sure you tell me down below, and tell me what you think of the PES gameplay as well, whilst you're at it. I think I'll just mix it up. I might do a bit of PES, a bit of FIFA. It's quite funny actually, it was the one game that I actually lost, which isn't great. So it's not really PES predicts, which sort of ruins it. It's actually what I predict, because I played it. But it's actually quite ironic how I lose the game, and well, I haven't lost many games on PES. In fact, that was the only game I've lost so far against the CPU. So it's quite ironic, that, isn't it? But either way, I will see you next time in another video. I am going to get a transfer gossip video up soon. Of course, Team of the Year and Ballon d'Or has been announced as well. Lionel Messi got it, what a surprise. And I won't be making too much on that. I'm not really fussed. It's all a load of bollocks, to be honest, these days. Team of the Year just sort of gets on my nerves. It's all stupid votes, and it just annoys me. Of course, like, when will there ever be an opportunity for a defender to win a thing like the Ballon d'Or? Last year it should have been Neuer, in my opinion. That's a strong opinion, I know, but come on, what are you meant to do as a defender to actually win something? I know that the attackers create the spark, and they're the ones who score the goals, but Neuer in 2014 conceded like 14 goals. It was a mad stat like that, and he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. He conceded 14 goals. Like, come on, he conceded less goals than goddamn Messi scored. So, like, seriously. Okay, he conceded less goals than a lot of bloody players scored. So, anyway, I will see you next time in another video.